Hello and welcome to Chasing Growth. The purpose is to encourage Christian leaders to get better. When you get better, everybody wins in your church, in your ministry, in your organization, in your family. Today I want to talk about purpose, and I want to share with you how I believe we can find that purpose, how we can identify the purpose. But before we do that, let me tell you a story. When my grandmother was dying, she was sick. She called my mom to be by her. My mom was her daughter-in-law. And the reason because she called my mom was to apologize, to make things right, to ask for forgiveness. Because during her life, she was very nasty with my mom. She didn't treat her well. My mom was always very respectful of her, but they were never able to be in a real relationship. So by the end of her life, with her last time here on this earth, she decided to make things right, and that was good. However, when you think about it, and when I think about it, really, all I can say that the sad stories about my grandmother being not necessarily nice with my mom or not necessarily nice with us is not good memories. And when I think about it, you think about her legacy. It's not a good one. Yeah, she was able to apologize. She was able to say sorry, but I don't really have good memories of her. So the reason because I'm sharing this story is because when you think about purpose, it's like the same thing. What people will say when you're no longer here. And the problem is that we live a life today. We're so focused on longevity. How long we're going to live, how many years. And when somebody lives for a long time, we think it's an achievement. It's a good thing they were able to live for a long life. And we think they have done something special because they did. And the reality is that the days on this earth for each one of us is not in our hands. And sometimes we can do the best we know to take care of ourselves. And we still have a time when we have to finish this time on this earth because our time is limited. But the big question is not how long we live or how we live our life, the legacy we're leaving behind. So instead of focusing to taking vitamins and doing all these things just to live a little longer, we should focus in what people will say, what are they learning from us, why we will be remembered for something. What is that we're leaving behind for our families, our loved ones, our neighbors? How are we making this world a little bit better? I have the opportunity to interview a lot of people, and one of the questions I ask is when I ask the people who is interviewing, I ask them, so how the place where you used to work or the place where you're working right now is a little bit better because you were working there or you're still working there? And sometimes there's not an answer because sadly what happened, again, people worry about longevity and longevity in a workplace. So they do the same thing all the time. They don't break any rule. They don't try to make things better just to stay normal and keep going. So, I have been there 30 years. I have been there 32 years. But every year have been the same and they haven't really made anything better. So life can be the same thing. So the question will be, how is this world better because you were born and you were able to spend an amount of time on this earth, and at the time that you left, the world was a little bit better because you were able to live this life. So that's the question. So how we discover what is our purpose? It's so key to discover what is our purpose. When I was young, I struggled with this because I used to think the purpose was that job that you do. You're a pastor, that's your purpose, and you do this, that's your purpose. And the reality is, the purpose have absolutely nothing to do with what you do specifically, but how you live your life. So the best way to identify what is your purpose is to start digging in your heart. And the best way to dig in your heart is this way. Imagine you're dying, like the story of my grandma. What would you say? What will be that thing that you want to leave behind? That's the thing that you want everybody to know about you. And hopefully it won't be like my grandma last minute just to trying to make things right before you die, but it will be something that you want to really leave behind, a legacy, a teaching, a way of living, a beliefs, your beliefs. I don't know what could be, but it's something so important to you. Now, if you ask yourself that question and all what you come to mind is what you tell your children every day, and it's just, hey, make your bed, make sure to lock the door when you get out, turn off the light because the electricity is too expensive, which of course we all do it, but those things are not that important. So when you think about that question, what is that thing that you want your son, your daughter, your wife to know? You can say, well, I want them to know that I love them. But what are you doing? How are you living your life to show that? You want to say, I want to help the poor. So how are you doing that? How are you showing that you helping the poor? Not just you love the idea, but how are you living your life with purpose? How are you living your life every day, repeating the same things, living in some way, doing the things that sometimes are difficult to do, but you believe is the right thing? So when you're able to answer the question, this thing's going to come from your heart, and you will realize what breaks your heart, what moves you, what motivates you, and you're going to be able to discover your purpose, because the reality is that we all have a purpose. We all have a purpose. Nobody's an accident. Doesn't matter you were born outside the in a relationship outside the marriage. Doesn't matter you were adopted. Doesn't matter. Nothing matters. What it matters is that you're not an accident. You're here for a purpose. And you have a limited time on this earth, to make it a little bit better. Especially if you're a Christian leader, you have a limited time to make it better. We have a season, and seasons come and go, and you never know when that season will be over. So are you living that way? Are you living in that way that you understand you have a purpose, you have a reason, and you have to speak about it? You have to live one way. You cannot compromise that. You stay with your principles and beliefs, and people who's following you, people who know you, will be able to be better because that's the idea of purpose. So if you're a Christian leader, you have to talk about this. You have to talk about people about this, because I feel sometimes that people is sleeping. They think they have all the time in the world. They're 25, 30 years old, 40 years old, and they think, well, they're assuming they're going to live into their 80 and 90. But that's not reality, and they live without purpose. The other lie that we have believed is this idea to live in a good life and a comfortable life. A life that we're successfully, we have a good job, we have a 401k, we have enough savings. Sometimes we give some money, but not too much, so we can be safe, so we have a safety net of savings, in case of emergency. They call it all kind of things. And then we retire. The earlier that we can retire, the best, so we can enjoy life. And we put so much focus in this life on the idea of ourself and comfort and be okay in this life, that we forget about legacy, purpose, how we making this world a little bit better because our leadership, because our influence. So as leaders, we have to start talking about purpose and start teaching people, start telling them to take risks. It cannot be everything about financial peace. Jesus didn't have a penny, and he had financial peace, because the Bible says our treasures are in heaven. So why this need to save everything and have enough and having a little more of this and that, and sign your children to play this and this, and then life is running. We all running out of life. And again, you don't have the next day guaranteed. So what you don't want is to come to the end of your time and you running, trying to fix things, trying to say things. And when you realize the things that were not important and you were spending so much time in them, and you realize the important thing, you were not doing anything. So it's matter. Start asking yourself that question. If you don't have more time, what will you do? What will be that teaching? What will be that thing that you want your children to know? Ask your children. I asked them today. So what do you think is your daddy's purpose, my legacy? And they start telling me all the things, and I was able to hear good things. But let me tell you, if you're not focusing in this, if you're not repeating the same thing, acting the same way, living a life of legacy, knowing that every step that you take have an impact on this world, you will never do it. And again, you're running out of life. Now, as Christian leaders, you can have your purpose. Your purpose, when you start asking about it, what I want my children to see that I'm somebody who loves the poor. I want my children to see that somebody who help the one in need, etc. And you live that life and all that, and that is great. But one thing that you cannot forget as a Christian leader, one thing that you must be involved as a Christian leader, this is Jesus' heart for unity. In his last prayer in John 17:20, he's talking about being one as he's one with the Father. He's praying to God to help us to be one, to be united. And if you're a Christian leader, you have a responsibility to unify. Now, this is the sad thing. I live in Atlanta, Georgia, and if you drive around, especially in the Christian environment, you have churches with different languages, churches with different skin colors, different way to dress, different worship, contemporary or not contemporary, and this and that, a lot of different, and everything is about customized for the comfort of everybody. And let me tell you this, that's not unity. That's not unity. When you start separating people by their own desires, your own way to feel comfortable, including language, you're not doing what Jesus' heart was praying about unity. And we as Christian leaders, one of our purpose, regardless of anything else that you can be doing, one of our purpose is unity, bringing people together, creating peace among people, especially these days in the country when people are so divided for things that we shouldn't be divided, for things that we shouldn't be fighting. They're not worth fighting for, and people is fighting for them. Instead, we should be united. And Christian leaders, when you get involved in that division, when you get involved in dividing because your opinion, not what the Bible says, but your opinion, you're a chain for what Jesus is trying to do. Unity. I refuse to believe that the church have to be so divided. I refuse the Sunday morning have to be so segregated so much. It shouldn't be. That's not the heart. He calls to be one, to be united. So you know what? I would love to be able to see Christians and see them and everybody will realize one another. Hey, we're brothers and sisters, and we have so much in common, and we can talk. But we don't really talk about it, and we have this fight, and the church is split for this, for that, and because these people want to wear one clothes, and these people want to worship this way. And that's not our purpose as Christian leaders. Our purpose as Christian leaders is to bring people together. So ask yourself that question. If you don't have much time to live, what is that one teaching, that thing that you must do, that thing that you want people to remember you for, that thing that you want your children to talk about it, that thing they will say, my dad was about this. What is it? And if you don't know, start seeking for it, start praying and asking for it so you can have it, and you can start living that life. And you living in that lane that is yours and only yours to live. And part of that line is bringing unity to the body of Christ, bring unity to the Christians. And as Christian leaders, you have to know, this is the heart of Jesus. He was praying for unity, and he's asking the Father, and we can be tools in the hands of the Father if we bring unity and we bless Jesus' heart. This is the calling for today. This is the encouragement for today, and I hope this help you. And if you think you're an accident, if you think you don't have a purpose, and you worry about just saving and buying the house and retiring early, going to the beach, let me tell you, you're wasting your life. This life is so short and so limited. So short and so limited, and nobody have the day of tomorrow guarantee 100%. So live a life of purpose every day, seeking constantly. Let me tell you, the last thing I want to say about purpose. One of the things that I discovered, asking that question to myself, I discovered that life is not about me. Life is not about me. It's about the people around me. It's the people I get to know and I get to influence. I recognize that life is about encouragement, encouraging others, that my life can move others into action. And also I discovered that life is about generosity and giving away, living a life with open-handed, ready to receive and ready to give. And that's part of my purpose. And again, I believe part of my purpose is unity. Bring unity among Christians in the place where you work, in your neighborhood. Instead to taking sizes, because the political party, or I believe in this, I believe in that, forget about that, because to me, it's not about us, but to bring unity, to bless Jesus' heart. And this is the last thing. When you identify that purpose, besides the one I'm saying about unity that we all should be working on as Jesus wants, when you identify that purpose, let me tell you, that purpose probably gonna go completely against your nature. And you will be able to see, and it will be hard. Because to me, for example, generosity is not something that come, I just wake up and I'm generous. It's hard. It takes discipline. But I want to live a life of purpose with generosity. And we have to keep doing it. We have to keep practicing that. So I want to encourage you. As soon as you find out, you will see how the things are a little bit against the nature that we have. But don't give up. Keep seeking, keep doing it, keep moving forward, keep living a life of purpose. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for listening. God bless you. Have a great week. And I will see you next week. Have a great day. Bye. Ciao.